Tatiana here on Alt 1057 Albany's new alternative, talking with Peanut of 311.
Hey, we have our own numbers that we have associated and assigned to us. Yours are your station and mine are my band.
Yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to call into Alt 1057 Albany, Albany's new alternative. And we're very excited to have you guys here July 16th coming to the Cool Insuring Arena in Glens Falls.
That's going to be here before we know it.
I know, so soon. And you guys have a new album coming out too, right? Voyager.
Yes. July 12th, I believe.
July 12th, yeah. And
Yeah.
what's very cool about this, so you guys worked with producer John Feldman with the album. You know, John, of course, worked with Blink-182, and you and Blink-182 are both performing Vans Warped Tour this year as well.
Yes, that's awesome. I didn't know they were on the same day. I mean, it's only a one-day show, right? There's so many bands on that bill. It's just a blur.
Well, it's the 29th, 30th. Yeah, there's so many bands. And
okay, it's 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. But what I wanted to say that was really cool, though, which is a little segue, is that now in your career, you guys are so big, but you and Blink both actually played Warp back in 1996, didn't you?
Yes. We did the Australian tour together of the Warp Tour, which was super funny. Just a total traveling circus. It was hilarious. I wish we had more footage of it, although some of it would be incriminating to some bands. I won't say who. It was wake up and set up a tent, or go to, get to the gig that you're going to play the next day and set up a tent, and then wake up at 5 in the morning because it's just blistering hot inside your tent. It was murder. It was a lot of fun. It's the stuff of memories, but I really wouldn't want to do it again as a 45-year-old man. It was fun 20 years ago.
Which I was going to ask, looking back then, do you miss the old days like that, or just happy where you're at now?
I can remember enough of them that I can relive them in my vast imagination and shaky memory.
And speaking of memories, you guys had a movie come out this year as well. 311 has just accomplished so much. It really is quite amazing for a band. You have your own beer, you have a couple beers, a cruise, you've done festivals. I mean, you have done so much. What's next for 311? I mean, you've done 20 summers of touring. 10
albums in a row in the Billboard Top 10. Can't forget that. And yeah, you know what we need to start doing is start giving back. Like we've done so much and we've had so much success, and we are in a really sweet spot because of our fans and our dogged, relentless touring. All of that adds to it. Now we need to give back a little bit, and for the first time we're doing like a charity edition. Like 50 cents on each ticket goes to our charity, and 50 cents goes to Dirty Heads charity on this summer tour. And our charity is the VH1 Save the Music charity, which gives kids instruments and helps get music programs back into public schools. And they've had a really big impact in New Orleans, which is a city that is super, super close to our heart for multiple reasons and for many, many years. So we're really happy about that. And I think that's one of the next things we can do. Like it's all great to be successful and do the victory lap every lap, but you need to give back. Like we couldn't do this if there wasn't a road for us to drive on that the fans paved for us. And we're all dads now, at least 4 out of 5 of us. We've got 10 kids. 11 is on the way, and it's time to give back and add like the philanthropy department to 311 and show the kids how it's done in a real classy way to be respectful and help out, because we've got it really good. We've had to work hard, but we've had a support system unlike any dream we could have ever had for ourselves. So I think it's time for us to give back, and I see a lot of that in the future, like environmental and music education and getting people who are arrested for marijuana, getting those people expunged.
Of course, VH1 Save the Music is an amazing foundation. And I know, looking back at your history, you are very enmeshed with New Orleans as a band, in the 311-day concerts. And like you said, probably for many reasons. And it's so cool to see 311 and hear about you guys taking that turn to giving back and doing so much. And that's one of the things I love about the rock and the alt-rock scene, especially like Warped Tour. You'd always go and see, the stands and all the different foundations and things like that.
Yeah, they were great about that. They were groundbreaking in that way. It's like, hey, there's a booth for not almost anything, but there's something that you wouldn't expect to see there that would teach you about making the world a better place, being a better person, supporting a small business. All of these things kind of go together to community building and making, I don't know, making humanity smile easier.
Now, because you've done so much with so many different things, what is kind of your favorite part of this whole music process, the creative process, performing live? What's kind of your highlight as a musician?
I love hearing what the guys come up with. Each one of them in the band, myself to a far lesser degree. Although I like what I come up with, it's just I don't like the way the other guys react to what I come up with. But when Chad shows up with a new demo, I mean, it is Christmas. It really is. It's always new information. He never really repeats himself. He's got a style, but it's not. He doesn't. He hasn't beaten the horse to a bloody pulp as far as stylistically. He's always reaching and just so smart. Like the drummer's point of view, writing riffs, and then what he puts behind it, not in front of it, as far as like a rhythm or a backbeat, and then these accents that he knows are going to be impactful because he's playing the percussion part, and it's magic. And Nick is a lot better than he even thinks, and I'm pretty sure he thinks he's pretty great. Nick is a writer with no equal in my mind. But he's also really super insecure. And I think it gets in the way sometimes of his writing. So me and him have partnered up a lot in the last 5 years, and I'm like his sentence finisher when he can't come up with something. So it's really fun. I know what you're trying to say. Say this. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say. How'd you know? So it's really fun. And I can help him be a little weird, and he can show me what it takes to really put in the time and what makes a song great, and we can argue about it. He doesn't listen to me all the way, and he really wants it to be a certain way. So I'm kind of writing for him when I'm doing lyrics because he's the one delivering it. But even that is it's so much fun. And what Tim came up with as far as on Voyager, it is one of the Grat tracks that we've released already, and it's one of my favorite songs we've written in the last 10, 15 years. It is so much fun to play live. It's just going to be sundresses and empty cans of beer.
It's quite the description.
Yes, it is perfect. It's everything in between. It starts at sundresses and it ends with an empty can of beer, and you can fill in the story however way you like in there.
I was going to say, that just sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be wonderful. And Tim just lays that out. He put a couple guitar solos in it, and he set me up for a win as far as foundation on the bass and grooving along with him, and it's just incredible. And S.A. is probably the smartest guy in the band, and has an understated role, which I'd love to elevate in the next chapter of the band. So there's something for everyone to love, even if you've been in the band for 29 years. It's really exciting, and these are all the things that make me really proud to be a 311 member for so long, and excited about anything in the future. And the roles kind of change here and there, and there's ups and downs left and right, and that's what makes it good. It's also all about the show, besides the creative, what happens in the studio every night being a little bit different, the audience very different, the city's very different, the stage is different. I love all that. I wouldn't want to be home all the time in the studio. That would be hard. I'd go crazy. I'm so used to touring now. I'd love to tour less someday. I can't see hitting it this hard, in 20 years from now, but it sure is fun while we're still strong and relatively young.
Now, speaking of the gear and the performances, I was checking out a rig rundown with you from back in 2017. You're a Warwick guy, and I saw you have your own series, or your own bass, with Warwick. So pretty cool to have your own insignia, people looking up to you. But is there anyone that you looked up to or still do now for bass playing or just music in general?
Yeah, I got a number of signature series basses of other people who are my heroes, guitarists and bassists actually. I've got a Steve Harris, the bass player from Iron Maiden. I've got one of his Fender Precisions, in a sparkle blue, and I've got a mirror pickguard to go with it, so it's era specific, and I've actually got it signed. It says "All the Best Peanut." I'm like, oh gosh, these are the perks. I had a friend was on the road with them. He was teching for them. So he's like, oh, there's this bass player named Peanut in America. Would you sign this for him? He's like, yeah, mate, sure, I'll do that. And like, these are really the stuff of dreams. I've got a Tony Franklin. He played in a band called The Firm with Jimmy Page in the 80s. They had a song called Radioactive that had the bass turned up to 1,000. It's an awesome classic track. And I've got a Dean Ween Fender Strat because I'm a huge Ween fan and have been since I was a teenager. Yeah,
I've worked for Ween for a couple shows and I love them.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Did you see his solo act or did you see Ween proper?
No, Ween proper. Yeah, Ween.
There you go. Yeah, Ween. They're a train that no one knows where it was made. No one knows how it keeps working, but it just keeps getting bigger and stronger and weirder. And I wish they would make more music, but as long as they're touring and headlining festivals and they're happy and not self-destructing, then I'm totally cool. I love Ween. I saw Dean play at like a Masonic lodge not far from where I live in Highland Park out here in SoCal, and I just kind of like inched my way up to the stage, and I had one of the best concert experiences of my life because it started off with like a 7-minute guitar solo with him making these like distorted faces. It was heaven on earth. It was like, that was so great. It was really like the melting of the faces, starting with the guitarist. Like he was melting his own face. And
yeah.
So I got one of his guitars, and yeah.
Oh,
my job is to stay inspired, and I've got it.
Well, it's all about the live music and the experience. We're so excited to have you come into the Cool and String Arena, Glens Falls. You're going to be there July 16th with the Interrupters, and looking forward to having you here in the Capital Region.
Have you seen the Interrupters yet? Have you seen that show?
I've seen the Interrupters a couple times. Actually, Warped Tour, I think 2016 and 18, I got to catch them. They're amazing live.
And they're blowing up right now. We're so lucky to have them at this spot in their career. I mean, us and the Dirty Heads will be opening up for them someday. I can see it. I can see it now because they're powerful. They've got the intangible energy, and they've got a ton of support right now, so we're really lucky to have them in the opening slot.
Yeah, it's really a great lineup you guys have, and definitely a show that, I know the fans don't want to miss. I mean, any 311 show, you guys have such a community, so thanks for taking the time. Any last things you want us to know or the fans to know?
No, thanks for supporting the music, spreading around the alt-rock. It's a beautiful thing. It's a unique time in music history, and all the support for all the creation, for all those hours the musicians and writers are putting into it. I think it's really cool that you're spreading it around. So thank you very much.
All right, thanks. We'll see you July 16th here in the Capital Region.
Can't wait. See you.
Bye. That was Peanut of 311 talking with Tatiana here on Alt 105.7, Albany's new alternative.